Hi, I'm Nicole Frisbee, and I'm a healer for Superfriends Academy, and here's my story. Mine actually started from a very young age. My father was extremely mentally, physically, emotionally abusive, among other things. I had a very difficult childhood in that he was ripped from me because my mom didn't want us to be around someone who treated like that. So he was just taken away, and I had no idea where he went. And so that was one of my big first losses. After that, kind of scooted through life until I was a teenager. And when I was a teenager, I started experiencing anxiety and depression. And it got so bad at one point that as a junior in high school, I actually asked my mom to put me into a psychiatric facility. That was for 6 weeks the first time. And then the next year when I was a senior, the same thing happened again, and I asked her to put me back in again, and she did. And that one I think was only for a couple of weeks. So I struggled with anxiety all through high school. After that, I became a teacher, which I swore I would never do, and I did. And I was an English teacher, and my family, with the love and support that I got from them, never even thought that I would graduate from college. So I showed everyone that I wasn't the person that they thought I was. I worked really hard, and I decided that Kansas City wasn't really a place for me. Wasn't really finding what I needed here, and so I just moved away from my family. And when I moved away from my family, I experienced some peace. I was not tied to my family. I was no longer the peacemaker and the interpreter for my family. I have a twin sister that I did not get along with most of my entire life. We are apples and oranges, and we made each other feel really bad about ourselves. So with all that stuff, I brought a lot of baggage about self-esteem and anxiety, and I wasn't worthy, and I wasn't worthy of love, because during that entire period also, every man, when my mom remarried, boyfriend, family members, everybody left me, and so I had a lot of abandonment issues. I got married to a man who's in the military, and I moved to Germany, and he just divorced me, and I decided that I went there for a purpose, which was to travel, so I decided to stay. When I decided to stay is when I met my soulmate, and for the first time in my entire life, I experienced unconditional love. I had never, ever had that, except for, this is going to sound silly, but from my dog. And so he was the very first person that accepted me for who I was. All my bumps and bruises, all the good things, all the bad things, and he was safe. So it was the first time I ever felt loved and safe, and it was a reprieve from the life that I had lived. We had a very exciting relationship. Everything went really fast from when we met to when we got married, and we had our first child. And so it was all very quick, a lot of fun. And when we got transferred back to the States, we found out that my husband had cancer, and that it was treat to extend life only. So we had to hurry up and live as much of our life together as we possibly could in a very short amount of time. And even in the midst of all that, because he was such a safe place for me, it was still not a horrible experience. I didn't have anxiety. I still felt loved. I felt appreciated and safe. I say safe a lot because safe is a big one for me. And so when he passed away, about a year later, I'm a single mom with a toddler. He was 3 years old, and I had a big falling out with my sister, my twin sister, and basically my entire family, because I kind of holed up and was trying to grieve in my own way. and it wasn't acceptable to my family the way that I did it. And so I started getting really sick. One day I noticed I was dropping my son off at school, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. I am so tired. I wanted to slap my face. I mean, I started going to doctors saying, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? And nobody could find anything wrong, and it just kept getting worse and worse. And I'm thinking, I have a child by myself. I have no help, and I didn't know what to do. So I kept going to conventional doctors, until finally I went down to visit a friend in Texas, where I guess my body decided it was a safe place, and it just completely collapsed. I got to the point where my clothes hurt. It hurt to lay in bed or sleep. My son could not touch me or hug me. He still talks about, Mommy, do you remember when you wouldn't let me touch you because it hurt so bad? And I started sleeping more and more, to where I would sleep probably, I don't even know, it was an insane amount of hours a day. I'd probably be up for like 5 hours a day, and that was about it. So after going to all these doctors, I finally got diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and of course, they told me that I would not be able to be cured, that this was something I was going to have to live with. They could give me Xanax, and they could give me pain pills, and that was going to be my life. Well, that was unacceptable to me. So, once again, I had massive anxiety, and I checked myself in again to another place that actually had some out-of-the-box healing. Like, we did acupuncture, and that was the first time that I learned that I had an inner voice that I had shut down. So they taught me to try to listen to my inner voice. And when I came back, I felt better, but I still was not healed. I still felt horrible. So I started going to chiropractors and acupuncture and anybody who was out of the box that I could try and get any kind of help from, I did. And everybody could only give me little pieces here and pieces there. And so I moved back to Kansas City, and I lived in my little bubble, and I got really, really, really sick, sicker than I'd ever been before, to the point where I would literally be in my bedroom for 3 days at a time and come out to take my medicine, and you might be lucky to give me a little bit of food. And I was getting really depressed because I wasn't there for my son at all, and I couldn't be the mom that he wanted or the mom that he needed. And so I started, once again, looking elsewhere. I went to therapy, and that helped some. My therapist was very spiritual, and she helped me get in touch with some things. But one day I was at the farmer's market, and I met this guy who told me to go see this nutritionist who was really, really good, and just see what happens. And I thought, well, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do that, because I've got food allergies now, I've got all kinds of things, I've got autoimmune issues, and it can't hurt. I walked in her office, actually in her store, and I knew that I was home. I knew that for the first time that I was going to be okay. I met somebody who knew how I felt, who knew what was wrong with me, which turns out it wasn't physical. I had a lot of psychic energy that was coming through me, and I mistook it for anxiety. And so from there, we started my journey, and I have learned so much about myself. I've learned how to center myself and ground myself, and I've gotten in touch with my guides through meditation, and I've channeled, and I now have come to find that I can put my hands on people, and when I put my hands on people, I have this energy that comes through. It's like it comes through my head, and it comes down into my body, and I get pictures, and I get words, and I can feel your emotions, and I can feel things that are wrong in your body. And with that loving energy that comes from Source, I can heal you. I can heal pieces of your soul. I can help you unblock chakras that are, holding you back, or issues that, might be from when you were a child, or from even other lifetimes. I don't really know exactly what the issues are, but I know what you're feeling, because I'm also empathic, and so I feel what you feel, and whether it's the feelings of anger or hurt or body pain, I actually feel it. And so because of the journey that I've taken with Jessica, I've learned that I actually am a pretty darn good healer. And so I'm really proud of myself, and I'm really excited that I found my purpose, because I had no purpose, I had no direction, and I'm not the same person that I was before. I have grown in so many ways, as a mom, as a person. My body has completely shifted to something that it was not before. It's so much healthier. I'm not perfect yet, but I am getting super close, and that's exciting. And that's all because of Jessica. So with her help, I've become the person that I was meant to be. And that's a healer. And I really want to help you.